That was so much better than the last time.
You framed that very well.
That was like 7.5.
Welcome to Overnight Pictures Through the Lens, where I, Adam, and Clay talk about movies we've made at Overnight Pictures and just kind of watch the movies, give our director's commentary, and just go through the whole thing. Talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and other great stuff. What's happening, Clay?
I'm good. How's it going, Adam?
I'm loving life right now. This is the first one we're doing like this, so I'm pretty excited.
It is.
And it's your favorite movie.
Definitely, because I think this was a defining movie in my film career. This is The Last 5 Days, the first feature-length film that Overnight Pictures actually produced. Not released, but produced. 2 college students find evidence connecting a story they are investigating for a film class to a series of deaths. Things begin to spiral out of control when an unknown force watching them becomes more violent and bloodthirsty. That's the synopsis. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Found footage is such an interesting genre of film. We talk all the time about what our next project is going to be, how we can improve things, what we like, what we don't like. Basically, this conversation that we're having with you, the audience, Adam and I do this on a regular basis. And I always say, true. And I always say with found footage, the thing is that it's typically speaking, it's easy, it's cheap, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if every shot isn't cinematic. Because
I don't agree with you on the easy part. Now, let's not sell this
that's
so easily, okay? Found footage looks easy. It looks easy. The people doing the found footage films that you're seeing, including this one, at the time, Clay used a state-of-the-art camera. He had been to film school. He knew how to use that camera. Everything you see in this film, while it's supposed to look like it was an accident, it wasn't an accident. Like,
yeah, it's true.
I've seen it done before, and we've done quite a few of these.
Yeah,
and
it's not as easy as I say, but generally speaking, I think that it's easier than writing like a drama film or working on, action scenes. It can be difficult to do for sure. I mean, any film is difficult to do, but I think that when you're not worried about if each shot is going to be perfect, yes, the shots are very planned out. It's very strategical. But if something is blurry or the camera is shaky and it doesn't show everything, that's okay. That's kind of the way it's intended, because you're supposed to be showing the audience what it would be like if you were there. So think about any random photo or video that you have on your phone that maybe didn't turn out the way you wanted. Maybe you saw something and you tried to pull your phone out real fast and take a video, and it's shaky and your subject is, all the way in the corner and you don't get a good shot of it. That's kind of found footage. That's very believable. If you see something that's perfectly centered, perfectly in focus, follows, our hero, if you will, through the scene perfectly, that's cinema. That's a completely different beast to tackle. But the thing about The Last 5 Days is we made it intentionally because of the time. So something that's not very well known, and I hope while we're editing this, we show various reviews and comments that are online while I'm saying all of this stuff. And some of it pertains to the sequels, but we might dump some of it in there right now. But we actually did shoot The Last 5 Days in 2011, which was, I was 23. I'm 36 now. And when we released the second one, I was 33. It was actually 10 years later. And a lot of people were like, oh, too bad it wasn't really 10 years. Well, you're wrong. It was.
What camera did you shoot that on, by the way, back then? Way back then.
The Sony FX1000 is the camera.
Boy, that's...
it actually used like the mini DV tapes. You had to like eject it and put them in there, and they recorded for like 60 minutes. And yeah, I want to say that was like a $4,500 camera when I bought it.
You're actually watching actual film when you watch this film. It's film.
Yeah. And
Pretty impressive.
Another fun fact about that, just quickly talking about the camera, is I have seen other comments talking about how they didn't really care for like the glitching effect that we added in. Some of that was added in because there was actually glitching, because we mistreated the camera in some of the shots. It kind of got jerked around, hit some things, or even when I just went back to re-edit it, because the footage was so old, there was actually some like audio and visual issues. So we tacked on a few more to make it feel like, oh, there, it's really spirits and all this stuff. But yeah, this is my time to talk about it. It really was in 2011. And then I met Adam several years later working on Silver Woods. And he watched it, or I showed it to him. I don't necessarily recall, but he thought that it was...
I recall.
I recall, but I don't remember the exact conversation. But he thought it was good enough that we should do something with it. And I said, well, okay. And
it was actually after Silver Woods.
Yeah, I knew it was after
we were shooting. We had shot the October Flowers.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
Which is 2 films past, and you're like, hey, I have this one thing, and I'm never going to release it anywhere, Adam. I just, I thought it's been sitting on my shelf, and I just wanted to share it with you.
Yeah.
And, you don't have to like it. I know I hate it. He didn't like it at the time. And I got back to him like, this is one of the better things you've shot.
Okay. I've always liked it. I just didn't know if it would live up to similar films. I mean, obviously, we were trying to replicate Paranormal Activity. The first one came out in like 2007 or something like that. And I think that there were 2 or 3 of them out when Joe and I sat down and said, we could do this. We could probably do it better. We were actually pretty much best friends. We don't really talk anymore. It's been so long, but some people think that the chemistry is BS, and other people can tell that we're actually friends. And the truth is we are. We didn't really plan any of the dialogue. We just said, okay, this is what's going to happen. And we just chatted back and forth while we shot each take, making sure that we hit points that we knew we needed to bring up to progress the story. We shot the film over 5 days. We got together before we shot it, and we said, okay, day 1, this is what's going to happen. Day 2, this is what's going to happen. We got everything lined up. We had our story straight, and we started shooting. And the first day we said, okay, these are the scenes. This is kind of how we need to get the story from the beginning to the end. And we shot. And then after I met Adam, we actually shot the bookend detective scenes where they talk about finding the body.
Me.
Yeah, that's you.
That's
and
me.
That was shot in 2019, I think. Early
2019?
I think it was like January of 2019, I want to say.
Are you sure it wasn't like 2018?
If it was 2018, it was around Christmas. I know it was cold, but I think it was early 2019, because I want to say we had the film ready for distribution around that summer, and then it came out during the pandemic in 2020.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah.
But to great reviews. Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And
everybody who watched it.
We changed a lot of stuff. In the original edit, the camera didn't crack, but I thought that added a nice touch. And once the screen cracks, you can see the saturation start to go down, like the camera is starting to fail. That wasn't in the original cut that I showed you. But I just thought it added something to it, because it felt a little empty. I mean, at the end of the day, the film I showed you is really just me and Joe. No one else was in the film. So I thought that it needed some production value with the detective bookend, and then, hey, let's break the camera, which people have pointed out to me that Joe doesn't notice the camera is broken. Obviously, we didn't break the camera, but I just, I thought it looked cool.
It's not reality TV. It's found footage film.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, Go ahead, and then I'll have something. Go ahead.
You know, yeah, it's just that's the thing is like you made it a little bit more Hollywood, but I think you refrained a great deal from going over the top, like some of the films that we saw that came out way after the Blair Witch Project, including Paranormal Activity, which I liked those movies. They were fine, but I felt like they kind of went away from what I felt. It took me out of the moment in some areas in those films where I didn't feel like it was found footage anymore. It was like produced found footage, so it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Whereas yours does. Ours does. So.
Ours. Yeah.
Ours.
And a lot of people have talked about the story now that there's 3 of these and what we could potentially do with a 4th, what they'd like to see. But just to kind of get it out of the way, because I'm sure some of the stuff's going to come up. The plan was always, when we made the first one, to leave it very open. And yes, obviously it's called The Last 5 Days because it's the last 5 days these 2 characters live. But we were never going to give you any information about Verbin. We were never really going to give you any information about the cursed fruit, other than for some reason when you eat it, it makes you want to hurt yourself and cut yourself and basically bleed out the virus that's now in you, the curse, and plant new trees and keep the virus curse, whatever you want to call it. We don't identify it in the first film, but keep the virus growing and just very open. We 100% set out to not give you anything more than we felt was necessary. And a lot of people have commented, and then we'll start the film because I don't want to talk forever. But a lot of people have commented and said, well, it's not very believable.
Too late.
It's not very believable. If this was happening to me, I would have called the cops and stuff like that. The truth is, have you ever been in a situation like that where your adrenaline's pumping, you get a really bad phone call, or you walk in on something horrendous, or just something bad is happening? You're not typically in control of your emotions and what you're thinking and what you're doing. And I think that it's a bit of a stretch to say that, well, I would do this, because the fact is you probably wouldn't think about doing that. And also,
But
if this was
it's
happening,
art, for God's sakes.
but who are you going to tell? You going to go to the police and be like, watch this tape? I think it's easy to sit behind a computer screen and criticize stories where things like this happen. I mean, mainstream Hollywood forever has had girls run upstairs while they're being chased. Where are they going to go? They're upstairs. They're going to jump out a window?
That's what we want to see. We want to see them get killed.
Right. But it's, I think that it's, and the thing too with this is we tried to make it very realistic. So obviously you could only see what the characters were recording. So, we'll get to it later. It's probably a good time to start the film, but there's definitely some stuff later on that I will allude to regarding
it was a good
calling
time to
the
start
cops
the film,
and stuff like that. So,
like 15 minutes ago, Clay. It was a good time to start the film then. I'm kidding.
But I wanted to talk about stuff like how I was young when we shot it, because people think I'm lying, and it's important to know that it wasn't. I wasn't even married yet when we shot the first
film,
one,
baby.
So
nice.
All right, I'm gonna get.
Okay, so we're gonna hit.
Do this.
Okay, so tell me when you're gonna hit. I'm gonna hit the button at the exact same time. So for all of you at home, Clay and I are obviously not in the same room. We're both gonna hit the play button at the same time, so we can watch this. So it has to be perfect.
On the count of 3. 1.
Wait, are we going 1, 2, 3, then hitting it, or 1, 2, hitting it on 3?
3.
Okay.
1.
Okay.
2. 3.
Oh, there's the ghost logo.
There it is.
Oh, baby, here goes. Ooh, I love that ghost logo. That was my favorite genre of logo.
I was pretty pleased with that. There's that camera that I mentioned. I think when we shot this, it had dipped in value to like 400.
There it is. Oh, look at that stud. Who's that? Oh, I have a hairline still.
This was actually shot in an elementary school library because that's the only location we could find that fit our needs. And I had to work really hard to make it not look like that. So since no one has ever pointed it out to me, I'm going to say success. Nice badge.
You got some great actors for this too. Oh, thanks. That's a bad we've used before.
We did, and some of them we had used before, and some of them we used again after this. So this was a lot of fun to shoot. I do remember shooting this.
These guys were fantastic. They really did a great job. Dude. You're like, you're gonna be here for an hour, guys, shooting, and they gave it their all. Especially this guy, Phoenix JD, right?
Yep. Later playing Pyro Ed in another one of our films. This was a good time. Yeah, we shot this really fast.
There's
we were fairly
Sandra, she's there. Everybody's there.
Yep. We were fairly unprepared for it, but it.
They're in the middle of completing their class.
Honestly, I don't think these detective scenes could have come out any better.
Something found in the camera?
They're solid.
So, has someone watched it?
Yeah.
And I think they just add a lot to the movie, because if you just see two guys in a movie, it just feels very home movie, and that's what we were going for. But I think bringing in the police aspect and other people talking about it makes it feel like more time has gone by, and it's bigger than just what the actual film is. And it says right there in 2011 real evidence was found. So I don't know why people overlook that or think that we're lying. I mean,
haters.
You can just
haters
look. This is my parents' house, by the way. I was still living at home. I was going to move out in about 2 months. I might have even started packing, to be honest. I got married later this year.
So now we're getting sound.
Oh, wow. You got married early.
Right, we're good.
would forget.
Yeah, right after I turned 23. And this was in the summer. This was in May, June. And I got married in November, but I got an apartment
that they gave us. They rented
in
one out to every group. So this is ours.
the end of September. So yeah, in about 2 months I was going to move out. But yeah, this is my parents' house. And I feel like you can just look around and see that this is 2011. I mean, take a look at my Hawaiian punch shirt.
It's true. People made comments about it actually looking like it's older, like the fans and everything like that, and the decor. And then a lot of people made comments about the decor, like this obviously was his parents' house. I'm like, yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
really is.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, college students can't afford that. Well, obviously, but that's the house.
2011, they actually could in Arizona. They can't anymore.
You know what? It's possible. My first
back
apartment.
then, a house you would have rented at $800 for that house.
Yeah, my first apartment that I moved into was that I just talked about was a 2-story, 1,600 square foot townhouse apartment. It was nice. $700.
This is our house.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can't touch that for less than 25 now.
Oh.
Is it really already?
No, they wanted. They raised our rent after a year, and we were like, no, we're moving.
Yeah, seriously.
But
I bet.
But yeah, I mean, just
we both like to say
it looks very 2011, and I'm just surprised that people
we haven't actually started our project yet.
don't agree or fail to see that. You know, it's one thing too, because people will be like, oh, this is so low budget. But then if that's the case, and you can look at all of the old stuff, you think we spent our entire budget on production design? No, that's just how the house was. That's
what camera is this? What is this DSLR you got sitting up here?
Oh, that's like a Sony
jumped off the mountain.
Crap.
It's like is it one of those point and shoot things?
Oh yeah, it doesn't even have a detachable lens.
And
I used to love those.
Yeah, it just it was not good
push you off, I guess.
at all.
No, I tried using one for a little bit, a long time ago, and I didn't like it at all.
People working.
I mean, for the time it was good, but looking back at it, I'm like, oh man, that's rough to see that I used that.
And I guess there's some workers who have been losing their minds.
Man, brought to you in crystal clear 720 HD.
Well, to be fair, I did degrade the footage to make it look a little bit
It'd be
more
pretty neat to check that out. See if we could also, you know, lose our minds.
pixelated,
So,
noisy.
All right. Well, how about we check
The
out,
camera, no, it's not great
orchard
by
first,
any
'cause,
means,
well,
but
I don't know about you, but
the original cut that I showed you was actually further degraded. I don't know if you can remember that,
and it's
but I
We
really,
don't.
I really
Let me think
noised
for a
that
second.
thing up in the original cut because I wanted it to look bad, and then
tell the viewers.
I was like,
Come on, you guys.
when we redid it and re-released it, I was like, I can't make it look that bad. People are gonna hate this.
I know. Yeah.
One thing, I mean, there's no stabilization, which boy,
Basically,
that's
I got
always
this
hard for
phone
me.
'cause
But
I just like
But it's
playing
intentional.
You know,
so
I'm
rolling shutter,
talking
though.
about it, you know.
that's what I do.
no
I
rolling
like
shutter though.
documentaries and stuff
Like you spun that camera all the way around. Something that new cameras can't do today, unless they're
Well,
global
yeah,
shot.
but this is a camcorder. This is like
And
a,
it got blurry.
Shit, yeah.
you know, that you can see there's definitely aliasing because I mean I'm pretty sure it's
You kept one of the light stands in the picture. Oh, okay, you fixed it. Okay.
Microphone is on.
well, but we're film students. That I mean the light's not on. It's supposed to be like stuff that we've borrowed from. Like it was intentional. We would have reshot that if we.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's being funny.
No, this is the one where
I can tell you
Look at that
too.
Papa's on.
We're watching the Crazies.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and you can listen to the description of us talking about how we think it's the government or what's going on. Yeah, we were watching like the second half of the Crazies, and I had just watched this film for like the first time, like a week before we shot it. So it's funny because you can't tell, there's no like reflective surface and it doesn't look like there's a light on, but we are actually looking at a TV and we're watching the Crazies. It was just on, I'm going to use a word that no one watching this probably knows. It was on cable.
Oh, he's watching on the deepest television ever created. It's like a cathode ray tube from like the 80s.
Ironically, the TV we're watching now was the only flat screen in the house. And it's like a 32-inch, and it was probably like $3,000. So
Oh yeah.
overpriced. they
I
were
bought one
they were
back
new.
So,
They were new.
I bought one back in 2005,
Mountain Tales Orchard.
and it was probably a 29-inch. And it only went up to 1080, which is the crispest, clearest picture you could get. And yeah, it's crazy. I probably spent $2,800 on mine, and I got a deal on it.
All right, like I need to
Rip
go.
off. It was a gateway TV.
Oh
The gateway
gosh,
computers that made
this is an
televisions.
LG.
Yeah, yeah.
We're watching an LG. I do know that.
Well, you're your
because
parents' house.
my- yeah,
so
my
you can
dad
afford
kept
an
that.
LG.
Forever. I like this. This is good. I enjoy
As
this.
you do, as dads do.
Yeah, I enjoy this singing. It's good. There's me eating, which I used to be able to do without getting fat.
Crap, I'm filming. Sorry.
Oh, welcome to the club, dude. It's called
Yeah,
age.
I know. Sucks.
on the road.
When I was 23 back in, the 1800s, yeah, I could eat as much as I wanted.
To Hemington.
Yeah, so we shot those first couple of scenes, and then we like went and had lunch and just hung out and talked about the rest of what we wanted to do. We obviously established we were going to go to this orchard first, so we just waited for it to get dark, talked about what we needed to do, planned, and as soon as it got dark, we drove there. And this was in Queen Creek, Santan Valley. It was kind of all just dirt back then, just starting to grow. And I don't even know what this was. I don't even think it's still there, to be honest with you. It was like the beginning of a development, but I don't remember where this is. But yeah, we just Joe's parents had just moved out to Santan because it was the hip thing to do back then. And he was like, oh yeah, I passed by this orchard, so we knew where we were going to shoot this. And we just went out there and shot it. Didn't get permission. Nothing. There was no one there. I mean, there's nothing built out there. There's just a road. So I mean, we were left alone. We shot out there for probably 4 hours, and obviously,
keep you updated.
a lot of people have pointed out that it's really dark. Yeah, we didn't use lighting. We just used the flashlights we had. I think mine or his phone had a flash on it.
Building around here, and they just
Really?
gave up.
Back then, you had a
I
phone
want
and a flash.
to say that I had either one of the first iPhones or a Droid. I cannot remember, but it might have had flash. Shoot, I can't remember. He might have had a flip phone still. But yeah, that was all the lighting we had, and it's not like we could bring lighting, and we didn't want to bring lighting because if you're standing somewhere in the pitch dark in a orchard that just goes on forever, you're not going to be able to see. So why should the camera be able to see? And if you don't like that,
They didn't have lighting in the Blair Witch Project. It was fine.
Yeah, like it's realistic. It's a excuse, but it's realistic.
It's covered in dirt, which makes
and the funny thing is, while we were shooting this, we came across this road. We didn't know this road was here, and we just rolled with it. And like I mentioned earlier, Joe and I, we met when we were like 4, in like. We might have even met before kindergarten because we both started playing basketball when we were 4, and I'm pretty sure we were on the same team. And then started going to school together. But we had excellent chemistry. So like anything that happened while we were shooting this, like randomly finding a road, we just kept recording. We just played off of each other and rolled with it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was kind of scary. I do remember shooting in this orchard though.
People don't realize what time of year was this, by the way?
May or June. I don't remember specifically, but yeah, so it was hot.
Nice and toasty.
Yeah. I mean, when we shot at night, it was nice. It was probably like
what the
80 maybe. But yeah, during the day it was hot. And that's another reason why we tried to get away with shooting some of this stuff at night. Was because we didn't want to go hike in the middle of the day. In June, like that's crazy.
These two kids too. You don't realize it if you're not from here. So they're walking around at night. And there's tarantulas. And there's tons of scorpions out where they were because there was no development yet. And snakes.
We're 22 and invincible though, so.
We were walking in the park with my dog a couple months ago. It's a huge tarantula just walking down the sidewalk in a park. Huge, like the size of my fist. Huge.
I don't like that.
I could see his face. He was smiling at us. I think he winked at my girl.
Mountain babes.
Yeah, I mean, like if I had all the money in the world, I probably would have lit some of this a little bit more and
Why would someone have dug it?
planned some of it out and everything. But I just think there's something really nice and authentic about just kind of randomly finding it. There, you could see that one of our phones did have a light. I don't know whose that was though.
Something up in the trees. I don't know what
It's the authenticity.
It's the authenticity. Yeah, and you know it's funny too because the original edit had different scenes, and I cannot remember right now if I cut it all out, but there was like this weird facility in the back of this where they were like building and there was lights. I think most of it got cut when we redid this. But in the original edit, we left it in. There's the fruit.
And we
The fruits, man.
The fruits, which
People, everybody, I don't know if you're going to actually tell them, but everybody online, especially on our YouTube channel, hey guys, people watching this on YouTube, have commented about what kind of fruit they think this is. And all the fruit they've commented on looks very similar to what this fruit is, but I don't think they know what fruit this one is in this movie. It's different, right, in other movies.
Yeah,
but
a couple people I think have got it right, but
It's got a weird.
this is kumquats, is what these
Ooh,
are.
kumquats.
And
What's a kumquat?
I would have.
What does it taste like, Clay?
Well, you'll find out in a little bit when I eat it. Oh, spoiler alert!
Slimy.
But you know, I don't honestly remember because when we shot it, I just take a little bite and then stuff starts happening. I want to say it tastes like orange, but I don't know if that's true. So the funny story though about the kumquats is I would have loved it to just be kumquats in every film. That was the goal. I didn't want to change it. But when we went to do the second one, kumquats have become increasingly difficult to find. When we figured what fruit we should use for the first one, we went to the supermarket and just started looking for like weird things that you wouldn't just find in any house. And we thought, hey, these look great. These are interesting. I had never even heard of them. But when we go to do the second one, it's like they're non-existent. I can't find them anywhere. So we started using cherry tomatoes and like specifically like combinations or comets because they're like yellow orange. They look very similar, but they don't have they're just tomatoes. So you can eat them. These have a outer skin that's not pleasant to chew. It's like eating an orange rind.
They're a citrus. Kumquat tastes citrusy with a sweet, tart, and tangy flavor profile. But unlike other citrus, such as orange or tangerines, kumquats have a thin, sweet skin without any bitterness.
It's not that big of a deal.
And without a sour pulp within. So, I don't know. I bet they're a little bit,
I had
a little bit
class. We were there
bitter
late.
still.
Yeah, I feel like they tasted similar to an orange, but almost kind of like a grapefruit.
Interesting.
Ooh, what's this?
There you can see that excellent picture I took.
That's good.
shots.
Yeah,
Good picture. That's a nice Sony there. Kumquats are made by small little evergreen trees that produce a tart orange fruit. And they're native to Southeast Asia and have a staple in countries like China, Japan, India, and Taiwan.
I've been in class.
Taiwan.
So
You know, I do want to point out, just looking at this scene with me sitting there, I want to thank everybody who thinks that in the second film I look the same. Because I think I look so young right there. Like,
nice enough to swim in.
I think you look totally different. I think you look like an old, haggard man in the
yeah,
second one.
I can sense the sarcasm, but honestly, I think
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious. I think you look like an old, haggard man in the second one.
I do. Like, that looks like a child because I was 22. I feel like you can see it in the face structure. I think people online are trying to be mean by saying that it wasn't really 10 years, but really you're just complimenting me on my good looks. So I'll take it.
10 years. It was 11 years.
It really
11
was.
years.
It really was closer to 11. So.
It rolled a little bit.
Look how thin I am too. Jeez.
Oh, so
My
sexy.
hair, I got the
and back
Justin Bieber hair going on.
Sucks.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Talking about that yummy, yummy, yum. Oh, he did.
Stupid name. I think it should be called the Forbidden Fork.
This is
Justin Bieber was probably a twinkle in his dad's eye when you made this.
We're gonna take.
I want to say he had like just been discovered. It was around this time he was
He was a twinkle in Diddy's eye.
he was singing "Baby" or whatever it was, or "One Time," whatever his like first hit was. "One Time" sounds right. I'm not a big Justin Bieber fan, but
he wants all the civilians.
yeah. So this is very similar to the orchard. We didn't bring lights, although I am about to tell a story where we got stopped by a cop. So we drove to this mountain. I like this mountain. It's about I live even closer to it now. It's over close to where we shoot the Pocket Man and Cargo Boy films. It's called Silly Mountain, and it's borderline AJ.
Yeah.
I could literally hop in my car and get there in about 15 minutes. But it's great because it's an easy hike. It looks pretty, and it's not very busy. So even when you shoot during the day, which we've done in other films, you're left alone. But it's just it's a nice place to go shoot.
To the grave.
But
We could go this way.
the story is we pull up.
Except for that one police officer that was there.
Yeah, we pull up
trail
and we start getting our gear out of the car. We didn't have a whole lot, I had my shoot camera. We had some water bottles, the main camera. Just we had the props too that we had to find, air quotes, find at the top of the mountain. which you'll see here in a few minutes.
There's no snakes.
And Joe had
Damn,
his
camera keeps glitching though, really bad. Jeez.
man purse. I know, I'm so sorry.
Split, we don't know where we're
But
at.
anyway, so we get all this stuff out, and we literally start to take our first step away from the car, and these bright lights turn on, and we didn't even notice that there was a car sitting there, and it was a cop, and we're like, oh crap, like what's going on? And he pulled up a little closer to us. We just stood there, and he got out of his car and asked us what we were doing, and we just told him, hey, we're shooting a film. We were going to take some pictures at the top of the mountain for a film class. We basically just pretended we were the characters in the film, and he was like, all right, I just wanted to make sure you guys weren't going to go do gay stuff up there. You would anticipate him to say drugs or something bad. I mean, it was 2011.
Back
so
in 2000,
it was a different time. But I was just like, oh no, we're
gay
not.
stuff was not allowed on mountains back then.
We're
It was
not
actually
doing
a law.
What if a snake comes out of the bush and
Yeah,
bites my penis?
you know,
I'm
I'm
not doing that today.
on the way here.
if I wasn't so caught off guard, I would have filmed, even if I didn't point the camera at him just to get the audio. But I was just so caught off guard because it was literally like a spotlight just like hit us, and I was like, oh crap, we're in trouble. Like, this is it. Type of thing. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. After we told him we weren't going to go do
Right? I'm not
gay
kidding.
stuff.
This really happened.
What did you mean by gay stuff anyway? You mean you're gonna go crochet?
No,
Is it macrame?
he
got a good look at his face. and
this
he
is
thought we were
actually
gay.
what he said. He wanted to make sure we weren't going to go to the top of the mountain to make out.
Oh,
So that
there's
cop
no
was
law against making out. at
that
the top of the
cop was
mountain back then.
patrolling to make sure that men were not going to kiss.
He did warn us though about.
How about
the rumors
females?
about
If two
the
females went up there, were they allowed to kiss?
That's just telling us what.
I did
It's
not think to
okay,
ask
it's not
him
lesbian
that.
stuff, just gay stuff.
To be honest, I really just tried not to laugh because, like I said, I thought he was going to search our bags for drugs. Not that we had any, but as a filmmaker, I'm just thinking, crap, this is going to slow me down.
Never to be
Like
seen
I have to,
Mm-hmm.
I have
Except on
to
that
let
rare
him do his thing and
spring
make sure we're
night
not doing anything illegal.
He shows
And he
up
just jumped the gun
when
and
you're hiking. And he
thought we
gets
were
ya.
going to kiss. So I was like trying
Tell
really
your
hard
kid.
not to laugh. But
He's very excited. He wanted to join in. So you guys not going up to do that, are you?
nah,
Because I am down. Like a
You-
clown right now.
you want to join us?
You can't drop it.
Yeah.
You have to pay for it.
I think
That's a weird. That's a very That's a very weird.
yeah, it's
Ner-
the
Makes me
truth
nervous,
though.
just
Like
the whole story.
I'm not making any word of that up. That is exactly how it happened.
That's gonna be on our next movie. That's gonna be a part of the horror story.
Well,
Lore.
the reason that the
Creepy
story, because while I was telling the story in the film, I'm telling that story. The reason I did that was because neither one of us could believe that it happened. I was like, I have to
You know,
say something about this. Like, it was too
I think
perfect.
this is why I don't go hiking very
And
often.
I hope that when
I'm
people
sorry,
watch
I'm
it, they're
sorry.
like,
School
there's no
is
way
way
they
too
made that up.
time-consuming.
Because that we didn't. Why would
We're
we?
doing school right now.
Very true.
Have you seen the rest of this movie? Why would I say something like that?
Alright.
In your eyes too much.
It's ridiculous.
Just a tad.
Look at that. Good camera.
Got the nice,
That's a
city
fantastic
background.
camera you have there. Look at that
Gotta work on
flash.
my,
Gosh.
It's totally drowned out everything in the background. I like it. It's good stuff.
Oh man.
It'd be perfect.
2011 was a wild time.
Is any better?
It's a work in progress.
It was.
Flashlight is down.
And this is true too. Our flashlights really did start to die.
We're gonna cut off the
I
camera real
think
quick and
right
add
around here
the
is
battery
where
and see
I
what
say
happens.
something about how
Alright, so
one of our
it's
phones
barely
has
working
a
for only short limited
light though,
time,
so we'll be okay.
and then
I
it
wanna
dies.
say,
So we're gonna
Yeah,
save
I
it
don't
and
remember what
record
phone
it
I
for
have. I
the
think
time.
I show it a couple
We'll
of
be
times,
back
but
once
I
we
think
get to
you
the
can
top of the
see.
mountain.
Yeah, okay.
Just so you guys
My
know,
phone has
our
a light,
safe, we do have some light.
Mm.
but it's not like a very good one. Like, look at that.
We're right next to the mountain. We're climbing up. It's getting pretty steep.
From a
It's at
long
my
way.
face level. It's
Yeah. So we're gonna try to record the best we can.
Oh, that's an
with
iPhone you
little
got there,
light
buddy.
Yeah, it's
That's gotta
probably
be an
it's
iPhone.
probably like the iPhone,
2.
but yeah, probably. Because I had an early iPhone and then I went to Android for several years and then I came back to the iPhone on the
You
8.
see the top?
And I had
When you
like the Galaxy 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, in between.
It's
So.
just so
Oh, and
big.
real quick, this watch was just there. That was not a prop. We just found that, and again,
Lovely watch.
rolled with it. I don't know where it went. I hope it wasn't cursed and it's just like sitting in my garage
10,
somewhere.
15.
Mm-hmm. Would explain a lot then, huh?
Yeah.
Every time that AC broke at your house, it explains a lot.
Yeah.
Let's put it in your bag.
So, 2011, man, I was your age now.
Jeez.
Bugs.
It's wild.
Oh, we're getting close to the
It
top.
is
Look at
kind
that
of
right
wild.
there.
It's kind of wild. I guess they had,
This
yeah,
is
they had
intense.
lights on
Here, do
phones
you wanna
back then.
switch
I
the
had
battery out?
the one that was a square that you could
Wait till we get up
flip
there.
out, and it made
And
like two
trail.
squares. Called
Let me
the
get a
flip.
picture of this.
Yeah.
something.
Well, yeah, I remember
And
shortly
Motorola?
before this,
Yeah.
everybody was really
Yeah,
into
take
like
your
the
bag off.
Razor,
Those shoulders are brave.
the Motorola Razor.
The Razor was good.
Yeah,
I'll
If
take
you
the
were a
camera
girl
for
and you had a
second.
Razor, you also had a pair of low-rise,
No.
tight jeans,
Still in your
probably.
bag.
and like a lot of lip gloss.
Yeah,
And that
definitely.
And their eyebrows were just like very thin, like little surprise brows, like clown eyebrows.
And you went
Bad placement right there.
a lot.
Yeah.
Here's your water.
I need my
Yeah, so here's where we find like some of the stuff. So yeah, we actually had to carry quite a bit up there just for the
What's really-
Can you
scene.
watch my bag for me?
What's really funny is between 2011 and now, men are still wearing the same stuff you guys were wearing back then.
Do you want to come
We
with?
haven't changed our style.
I don't
think
know.
I've changed
I don't
my
know
style
that we
since
were
2000.
really stylish back then, though. I mean,
You
both
can
of
check
us are
this
just
out.
wearing college shirts, and
That's what we still wear. We wear like t-shirts and like cargo shorts still.
neither one of
Straight
us
up.
was going to U of A. I think Joe did go to U of A, but only for like a year, I want to say. I can't remember.
AUC was where the party was at.
I think I found her
That's
house.
true. That is true. Some of these scenes were fun to shoot, though, like pretending to fall.
Dude, that's beautiful out there. Back then.
Yeah.
I think you should check this out.
That scene looks pretty good. I'm still pretty happy with how that turned
Ryan.
out.
Brian, where are you?
It's all just black now.
Just
Can't
black
see
now.
I'm down.
And then you're gonna
down
see the flare light up,
Oh,
which I'm pretty sure we
You
only
okay?
brought
I
one
think so.
flare.
Oh, my head hurts.
Did you fall?
Sounds about right for
I
an indie
don't
production.
So
remember.
we were
One
like, we have to do this right. And I remember too, we were
The
very
flashlight's
paranoid
dead. Hold on, I'll
about
help you up.
what if the cop is still
there's not
down
enough
there
light.
Oh,
and sees
oh,
the flare
Let me get the
light.
okay.
Because
Mm.
what if he calls for help or starts
Hmm.
going up the mountain or, you know, something.
His
So
boys on that mountain getting their kicks with flares in ways that he would have no idea.
he's like, they told me they weren't going up there to kiss, but they literally caused
I don't know.
sparks.
I don't know if it's sweat or
That's it.
blood. I don't know.
Hey,
Jeez.
can you take the camera up?
Yeah, let me just.
Still rolling, still black. Can't
Yep.
see anything. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah,
There's a light.
he had to like grab the. See, the thing is like he fell down the mountain with the camera, so he had to like come to.
Alright.
So I mean, it's not like he can just grab the camera and look up immediately. We
All right, let me
really
try to stand up.
aimed for that authenticity.
Here.
Yeah, I remember when we shot this, we talked right before we rolled,
Okay.
and we were like,
All right, give me
we
your
have to hurry, you have to climb, we have to immediately put out the flare, because if that cop is still down there, he's gonna see, and we just didn't want any of that, because,
Okay.
I mean, we told him we were going up there, why would we have a flare? Like, what are we doing? Other than we need help, and we didn't need help. So yeah, as soon as he got up there, we started like stomping and smashing the flare.
These kids were
Production
afraid.
value though, that shot looked great, and I remember Joe
Can you
telling
see?
me after we
Yeah.
finished shooting that scene
My eyes are
that
pretty
a bunch of
adjusted.
hot ashes
Oh, my
fell on
head
his
hurts.
arm while he was climbing, and it hurt so bad. And I was like, oh,
he
sorry.
deserves
I
it.
had to film and hold the flare and help you up, so sorry.
Man.
What happened?
My bad.
Rough stuff.
Yeah.
Mm. He's having a hard
I
time.
think you slipped.
Yes.
I found something though.
He sold
You gotta
that
take a
well.
look at it when you
Alright.
just
Let me just get a drink
just
of
chill
water.
for a
Oh,
second.
my head. I fell. No, here's
my
the
head.
here's the box that we bought at Michael's for like $3.99.
It's like a. Is
We almost bought the same box for number 3.
Yeah. Except it wasn't $3.99 anymore, I don't think.
No, like 15 bucks.
Yeah.
For babies.
Oh, legit, the only props we purchased for this film
That's my job. I like
were this box,
liven things up.
the fruit, and the fruit was like, oh my gosh, we got like 40 of
There's
them
something in here.
for like $2. It was like $1.99
They're
a.
expensive now.
Well, yeah, I can't even find them, like I said, but yeah, it was like $1.99 a pound, and they each weighed like an ounce and a half, maybe.
It's not locked.
But yeah, that's it. I really think that's all we bought was the fruit and everything on the camera right now. The fruit in the box.
Here for a while.
Is this the same?
Cheap. I think cheapest production we've ever done is probably
the
this
same
one.
Fruit?
I think it's too much of a coincidence.
Guaranteed, dude.
The
They got
orchard
expensive quick.
and
As much
so
as I would have loved to pay those extras, we didn't
Maybe
pay them.
So this fruit wouldn't just end
No,
up.
they
here.
they
This
got
is some kind of connection
copy and credit.
between
Yeah.
two different.
Yeah, we didn't pay
pocket
them
sites.
money.
And
But again, we just
Incidentally, since we're talking
I haven't
about
found a
extras,
connection between the two, so we could be the first to
you know,
actually figure out whether this is true. why these
being
are
a
connected.
young filmmaker,
Stumbling
or maybe
on
you're just a filmmaker starting out, maybe you're not young, maybe you're older, and you want to start.
This looks pretty rotten.
There's nothing wrong with asking for help. A lot of times in this industry, people are like, "Well, you're going to make money off this. You're going to make money,
Tonight
so I
is
want my cut. I
vintage
want my
movie
cut. I
night.
want my
Usually
fortune."
on a
And the
Saturday
reality
night,
of
myself
independent
and
filmmaking
Brian
is there's not
will
a tremendous
watch
amount of
old
money
movies.
involved
It's
that
fun.
exchanges
We have a
hands.
VCR.
Clay and I
so
do this
VHS
because
still
we love
exists
what
in
we're
our
doing,
in our
right?
home.
and we
So,
like to make art.
Speaking of Brian, I
And
don't
so
know where
we
he
put out a
is.
casting call. I
We
think it
took
was
him
on
to the
Facebook,
doctor.
right?
He
Yeah.
was okay.
On
Yeah.
one of the Facebook pages, or
He's
maybe it's on
just-
our page, and we just said, "Hey, listen,
He's got some
we're adding some bookends to this experimental thing that we did. We can't really pay anything. We want to distribute it." We were very honest with people.
Yeah.
why he wanted me to
Oh
We
yeah,
didn't-
they
we
knew.
just said-
They knew what they were getting.
We might make money off this, but we don't. If we make money, it will not be enough
Brian.
to pay back what was put into it. People don't realize, there's a lot of other things that go into it, like editing and things like that. And they were all very receptive. And a couple of
Go away.
the people, I think Sandra Elaine was in the foreground there. She does films with her production company. She knows how expensive they are. She was willing to come out and just help out. A lot of the other actors were. And so sometimes
Next week. It's almost
you can really get some great quality actors, and if they're not quality, then you can also do what Clay did and be more creative with the camera. He didn't know what he was going to get himself into, and the actors did a great job. But he did a lot of Dutch angles, and he shook the camera a little bit here and there, and did a lot of close-ups to kind of catch their emotion in case they weren't going to perform the way we wanted them to. Which, by the way, they all did a great job. So if any of you are watching that were in this film,
Well, I left the
great
fruit
job.
from the orchard
Again, we couldn't have been
in the
happier
fridge, so I
with your performance.
Oh, here we are.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Do you want to
Oh,
get?
you put the whole box.
It was in the fridge right next to that lemon juice and that bologna.
Basically,
Yep.
this is the fruit.
Love some bologna sometimes.
It's,
Why'd you put the watch?
Just the watch.
well, I just thought everything we got from the mountain.
A band-aid. He just has a band-aid on his head.
I just told you that we didn't have any props. So I mean, we didn't even really. I think we really only used blood like the last day, and we used it very sparingly. So I mean, like, we didn't have a makeup artist to like bruise him or anything. So we're like, we're kids. Okay, well, he's got a head injury. Let's put a Band-Aid. Obviously, I probably would have gotten one of those like bigger bandages going back and looking at it. But I mean, you pointed out, but that's one of those things no one's really been like, wow, really a single like Band-Aid you would use on a paper cut.
In these two places that we didn't know.
You know,
about at all.
The points of this that are critiqued are not
There it is.
are not the things that you and I would critique. They're things like, why didn't they call the cops?
This was just
Not really. That's the
kind of
Band-Aid.
That would have ended if they called the cops. The story would have ended right there. Then
But people
It's
don't
like
think
they-
about that when they're posting things. They only think
So I think we should look up
reasonably
stuff online and see if we can find
because
out
they
about this
are
fruit.
sitting behind
Oh no!
the screen.
high cliff.
that peanut butter jar
Wait.
just sitting there, just staring at it.
This scene is great. But yeah, no, they're sitting behind a screen fully capable of just
with the fruit.
thinking logically, but the characters are not thinking logically because the situation they're in is
I
tense.
think we'll manage.
Clay just wants to tell everybody who watched this that he hates you. That's all he wanted to tell you. He doesn't have
No,
anything positive to say about your comment.
I love so many people are so positive about this film, and I could not appreciate it more. And I think about 80% of people that watch it really understand what we were doing, and the other 20 think
Well,
that
Rich kid's here. He got a MacBook in 2011.
I was in college.
a
Well,
lot of it.
I had shoot, I think I was
Diddy,
done at college, but
they're hallucinating.
yeah.
Look at that brick. The thickest MacBook ever created.
That's wild. It still had a disk drive, but yeah, no, I used that in college, and I just kept it when I was done. But yeah, no, and then I think the other 20% think we had like a $50 million budget and just wasted it on
basically
food or
autopsy.
something.
yeah.
Like
That was
they
the
missed
Cargo Boy.
they
Somebody
missed the
said,
point.
Obviously, they had a huge budget and they just blew it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
You know what else is funny? You know, I might as well just bring it up. No one has ever pointed out to me that you can see that we are both wearing
Basically, that's what this article.
overnight pictures wristbands.
Oh, I thought they were What Would Jesus Do wristbands from back in 2011. They're not?
You thought they were
So
what?
we can't go any further.
What Would
in our
Jesus Do?
investigation
Remember those?
until-
Oh, well, I remember the big ones were the Livestrong ones.
Yeah.
I
The
vote you.
Oh.
the yellow ones
Oh, no.
for the
I'm camera guy.
bicycle dude.
I'll film you.
Back in like 2005,
Lance Armstrong or
there were
something.
these
Yeah.
ones that said,
No, you can
WWJD.
even see. I think it's about to show me like cutting the
Everything's
fruit,
good to go on this
and you can
episode.
see overnight pictures right on the band.
The fruit.
This looks nasty. I just
Why
gotta
not?
say.
Why did I never get a band that said overnight pictures on it? I've been doing this shit for longer than he was.
I think
Where's mine?
I think I still have a couple. There it is, though. I'm about to eat it. Yeah, I don't remember eating this.
It's
A lot of this film we did in one take. It was very rare that we did a second take.
mixed with lemon.
By the way, I've been in this house before quite a few times actually.
Ready to go?
Yeah,
I miss this house.
I miss this house too.
I only wanted to do this once, so please make sure you get it.
I miss your dad made you a trampoline in the backyard.
Oh, it was great.
You and I played on that after a movie. Remember you and I jumping
Yeah.
on that like children?
It was great. Yep.
What was that?
Oh, man.
All of this
Oh.
stuff flying and everything we did with fishing line, and
Greg?
we did it ourselves. For 95% of these shots, we did not have a third person to help.
Did you eat the fruit?
There is
Real Zach Baggins production going on here.
Yes.
Fishing line and everything.
there is one specific shot that we had help on, and I will point it out.
Right?
But all of this,
You're the one
and
that-
if you notice, we spent a good amount of time showing the cabinet shut before, so that when something happened, you could be sure that you had seen that it was shut. Like, we were very particular on shots like this. And this scene, you can kind of see I'm clenching my fists.
I'm just trying to think
It's
of-
because I'm holding the wire,
I'm
and I
just trying
take
to
a
think of
step
real
forward, and we tried to
solutions
force
this
It was a
problem.
spirit.
the angle to be really
Oh.
awkward, so that when I move, you don't really think anything of it.
Happens.
And then the piano bench falls, and we just barely get it in the frame. But I did it, and then I just dropped the fishing line and walked away.
I can't handle
It's just
this
me.
right now.
Let's get
Good
to
job.
the back.
By the way,
Yeah. Let's go to
if
the
you're
dog
making your
park.
own
Are you sure
films
you're okay?
at home and you
No,
want
I'm
to do
not
like
sure
real
I'm
ghost
okay.
things, you see them all the time on YouTube. It looks like a haunt. Someone's like, "Oh man,
Alright,
everything's
let's
haunted here,"
sit down.
and things are flying around.
Sit
It's gonna happen
down.
again right here, guys. Watch this.
Yep.
That was a good one.
And that was Joe. He just
Easy to do
sat
with
down.
fishing line.
We had the fishing line wrapped through the blinds on the wall next to me so that he could pull it, and it would pull through the blind, and we just taped it to like random DVDs so that it would
Keep it on, 'cause
fly at me.
Do a fishing line tutorial. That'd be really cool for people. But there's a lot of stuff you can do with this. I learned some stuff from Clay. Incidentally, you know, what's really great about this is we've employed
How you
the
feeling?
fishing
You
line
feeling
gag in
better?
quite a few of our movies. However, when we go to
Yeah.
do, Clay and I also do
That's good.
actual haunted stays at places where we
I'm a
we
little
do
more, relaxed now.
paranormal
I
investigations.
think it was a good decision.
And we've had a few things happen that we didn't touch.
Yeah.
It just happened. Doors opening, things like
Yeah,
that.
there's
That's a
one thing
trick
that's bothering
hard to
me
pull
that-
off with some dental floss. You know what I mean? You're gonna need more than one person in the room for the opening of doors and things.
Article
Yeah.
Those things happen on their own.
Was talking about the construction
Hard to do.
workers,
So like when we did those, when we went to those the haunted hotels and things like that, those are things that actually just happened, real paranormal experiences. But if you were going to do something like that, I think it's damn near impossible to get a door to open with fishing line. You'd have to have someone on the other side pushing or something. But if you wanted to like knock DVDs off of a shelf, which who has DVDs anymore, or whatever,
I do.
We've had some fun. Yeah,
Just look at them all back here. I have a whole nother one of these over here, and I have two big, ginormous boxes full of them.
Jeez, fire hazard.
Yes. They're worthless, by the way. I thought maybe one day they'd be... some of them are still sealed. I kept... Some of them sealed. That was my collection for a long time. They're worthless. Can't even sell them.
You and my comic book collection, same thing.
It's tragic.
It's unfortunate. It is tragic, but
maybe they'll come back though, because there's some VHSs that are worth a lot of money now.
It's true. I think I have some upstairs. I should check out. My wedding VHS from me and my ex, worthless. No one's ever gonna buy that. So I probably should burn that one. But
All those pictures?
Gosh.
but let me just. So you want to throw things like DVDs, open up cabinet doors. Fishing line's a great way to do that, and I think Clay can speak a bit more on how that works out. In post, obviously, in reality, it's just you pulling stuff. But like to open a doorknob, maybe that door wouldn't be that hard. But like regular doorknobs in places that we've been, like I've had someone say, "Oh, you guys just did a trick to open that." I'm like, no, Clay was the only person in the room at the time. Like we need a tiny room, and it'll do it on its own. So. Yeah, I used to be a skeptic, and look at that, HDB. I used to be a skeptic about things like that and say, oh, they did it all with fishing line. Now I know there's only some things you can do with fishing line.
Yep.
And some things it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you're doing stuff, kids.
Let's real quick point out that a lot of people comment about the Christmas trees. Now, my mother has that tree, and then I think, let's see, there's one or two in the kitchen, and I think there's one in the back room as well. She had 4 or 5. They're just like fake, trees. But she kept them up year round, and people would be like, well, that's stupid. There's been a lot of comments. I'll probably insert one
She
here.
liked the Christmas trees.
No,
she used
but
to keep them up when I went over.
Yeah, so she's moved since my dad has passed away, and she still has trees up in her new house year round. What she does is she typically decorates them to the season. So like in the fall, she'll put like plastic leaves on them, like the golden red leaves, and she would just, that was just her thing. So I realized that that's weird, but I didn't really want to move the trees.
Feel like
By the way, his mom.
But people ask about it, so there it is. She just likes
Saint.
trees.
makes me feel
And
She's an angel of a person. If you met her, you'd think,
yeah,
this is the person who has Christmas trees up year round.
yeah.
Just when you meet her,
Yeah.
if you ever met her,
But
this
her,
is the person
I
who
just,
do that.
her thought process isn't that it's Christmas trees. It's just decor. It's things that she
Trees.
can decorate. Yeah. This scene was a lot of fun to do, and a lot of people really like how I act in this scene, and I really want to get shirts made that say I feel safe here. So,
Now is the time to do it. It's the climate in which to do it in.
yeah.
I'm just looking at my battery on my camera to make sure we're shooting okay. I think I have like 2 bars left.
This is
With my
where
glasses on.
the movie takes a turn, though. This is the 3rd night, and Joe's obviously gone to sleep. I've stolen the camera, and I've already been taking pictures of the fake trees. Now I'm gonna go lay by a real tree, and things just start
this is
to
my
take
favorite-
a turn.
This is my favorite shot.
And the whole thing,
Yeah, it sounds stupid. I just like the angle. I like the fact that he
I
blinks
just
once, guys.
set the camera down. Yeah,
He
there's
blinks once.
those
It's-
trees again. Yeah.
Talking from an acting standpoint, a lot of times they tell you not to blink because it shows intensity. It
Just to
shows
give
that
a
you're
quick
being
update about
genuine,
what's going on.
and it's hard not to blink.
Sorry for filming
Trust me, it's
later
very difficult not to blink for that long.
today. I
Yeah.
couldn't find the
Well, and I
camera,
didn't
so
I didn't
left
even
last night.
necessarily try
I wonder
not
if,
to blink.
Greg was filming something.
I
I'm not
think that
sure.
was another example of a one take,
Uh,
and I just went back and
speaking of
watched
Greg,
it, and I was happy with it because when I set
last
the
night,
camera down, I had to then fall
Chris
over
was acting pretty
and
strange.
kind of lay by the plant, and I
and
couldn't
something's
even really
different about
see myself because
him.
a lot
He's
of
not
these
really
scenes,
interested in
like
plants for
Joe's
some
shooting
reason, which
himself talking
he
right
hadn't
now.
been-
I think he has the monitor
Check
flipped so
this
that he
out.
can see himself,
Yeah.
but I wasn't there. Like a lot of
Look at
it,
that rocking chair.
yeah, I was moving the rocking chair, but a lot of this was just me shooting and Joe out of the room, or Joe shooting and me out of the room, which you understand because you've been there for the sequels. A lot of it is just me alone, and you can't be there with me because obviously you would show up on camera.
Where are you in that? Where were you in that shot?
The string was probably 10 feet long. I was hiding around where the piano was, and the string was tied to the very bottom part of the chair. And I just kind of like pushed down on the string to get it to start rocking.
It looked good. It looked good.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff we did with the string in this movie, I'm really happy with. Because obviously that's how we did it, but I think it's just good enough that people kind of question it. I think a lot of the shots are, well, wait, how did they do that? Obviously string, but how?
Yeah, we messed around with string a lot in our other films, and I gotta tell you, we could make an entire special of outtakes called Two Assholes with a String, because that's
This is true.
exactly,
Yeah.
it's just so bad sometimes. But oh, he's looking stuff up.
Yep.
He's looking stuff up now, guys. In my argument to people who said, why didn't he call the cops, besides it would have killed the plot line at the end of the plot.
Well, nothing's happened yet. He shouldn't have yet. Like, even if this
No,
was real.
But
basically,
But
what
I
this is
think what
saying
I'm
is
the point I'm getting across
that
is that you see a progression
used to be a
of
house there.
you know
It might
things
still be
he's
there, I
looking
don't
up,
know.
and you see
Doesn't
his
specify.
concern start to peak probably about the next 10
and the
minutes.
owner
Yeah.
would lease it
And
out families to
speaking
live
from
there.
experience, especially like back in
whatever.
2003, which isn't that far
It's
from
weird.
2011, when
There's
I was
about
close to that
20
age.
families that live there.
You know,
Like
I
the
remember,
span of,
you
like,
know, weird
no more
stuff
than 30
going
years.
awry in like my apartment complex,
Which
and
seems like a really
and
high number for that
other
amount of
things,
time.
not supernatural things, obviously,
don't
but
know.
Right.
just
I
like
don't know
shady goings
that
on. And we didn't
means.
call the cops, man. We didn't call the cops back then.
But
You didn't call no
yeah,
cops.
I gotta
Why don't you
try to
call the
connect
police?
dots here.
No, and I just feel like that's it's a cop
where to
out.
start.
Like,
Yeah, no one called the cops,
Greg's
man,
really
back
creeping me
then.
out right now.
Nobody called them for nothing.
but even still, today, I mean, like, okay, look right here. Like,
I could have broke my arm and I wouldn't have gone to the hospital back then.
clearly something's wrong with me. I'm starting to get like bruises under my eyes. My hair is crazy. My clothes are somewhat inside out and mismatched.
By
But
the way, now your eyes look like that all the time.
yeah, thanks. I have 5 kids now, so I don't get that much sleep. But the point is, I don't know that even that is like enough to really like call the cops or like.
No. Oh, you got the
Yeah,
breakaways
what,
on. You got the Adidas breakaways.
what would you
Oh,
do?
Shoot.
Yeah, I like those
I used
pants.
to have a pair of those, man.
I like the sound design for a lot of these scenes. And a lot of this was like I told Joe, just keep filming. I'm going to do stuff. Just keep filming. And he was actually really clever with the camera. And I remember after we shot this, he was like jumping up and down because he was so happy because he didn't know what I was going to do. I told him I was probably going to sit in the chair because of just a scene or two earlier we had shown the chair rocking. So we thought it was significant to show that I'm like comfortable with whatever weirdness is going on. And then the funny thing too is the chair keeps rocking and you'll see it keeps rocking for a while. And I am not kidding you. There is not a string attached to that. So it's just ironic that it kept rocking, but it keeps rocking. But the cool thing is Joe zooms in here and I didn't know he was when I stopped and turned back. I had no idea he was doing that and he didn't know that I was going to stop. And it was just like so perfect because this whole scene
Synchronicity.
from when I walk out There's cuts, but we cut it just to shorten it. It's one take, and that's probably like a 2.5, 3 minute take, and the whole thing was just like
Understand.
flawless.
Just 2 days ago, I was.
By the way, you have to be possessed because your shirt was inside out. That would have driven me crazy.
Yeah.
Swimming.
Yeah.
Girls in
That's how you can tell someone's crazy. The shirt's inside out,
Yeah.
everybody.
Let me check real quick and make sure my shirt's. No, I can see it's not inside out.
I got to check real
Right
quick
here.
and just make sure my camera battery's not going to die again. No one likes it when that happens.
Well, if that
I still got
happens,
2 bars left.
if that
should be
happens,
fine.
you
That should be
won't
fine.
be there. So
Yeah, people won't care. Like, I don't care. Adam was sucked
Yeah.
anyway. Hope it doesn't corrupt my footage. Oh, I'm not using a Canon this time, so I should be fine.
oh, yeah. I mean, I just feel like
Fidelity.
even just looking at that refrigerator, that doesn't look like a refrigerator from 2011 or from 2021 when the second one came out. That looks like an older refrigerator. This was more, I was hiding in the shower with a string, waiting until the fruit got hidden for the door to open, and I had to tug that sucker hard. And this one did take a few takes because it kept snapping and nothing would fly out of the cabinet. It would just break off and the door would stay shut. But we got it.
Frustrating.
Yeah, we got it.
You have done a tutorial on how to use string and how to clear it in post, right? You've done that.
So I made up.
I think I have. But that's another reason why we degraded the footage. So it's pretty easy to get rid of the string, but sometimes if you use thicker string, you can still kind of see like a weird bending when you remove it. So that's another reason why we added a little bit of film degradation and noise, is that way it covers up any of the bending that occurs. And this shot, I love this. We shot this when my parents were home. We had been shooting all day, and my parents had like just gotten home with my sister. I think she was playing softball, and you can see the door on the left is shut. I forced them to hide it because we had one more scene to shoot, and I was like in full makeup, like ready to go. We had planned this whole shoot out, and they came home. And I'm like, can you guys please go hide in there for like 5 minutes
Parents were
while I
so
shoot
supportive.
this crazy crap?
Your family has been hella supportive.
They have been, yeah. But it's wild because you think about behind the scenes stuff, and people watching this movie just have no idea like how much fun we had and what went on behind the scenes. I mean, this is probably one of the creepiest shots in the whole film, and you'd never guess that just right on the other side of that door, my parents and sister are probably watching like American Idol.
Awesome.
Oh, man. Yeah, I love this. I love just standing and looking creepily at the camera and the head tilts and the fireplace
Again, people
turned
who
on.
don't believe that this was made at a certain time. Look, they got a VHS player on underneath a projection screen.
And that
with a
TV,
freaking cable
that's
box.
that's like one of those first flat screens that's still a box. Like you can see that it sticks out about 2.5 feet from the wall.
Because it was a projector. It was a backlit projector.
Yeah, yeah,
Those were awesome, by the way. I love those.
yeah.
I loved them.
Someone pointed out to me that you can see me sneaking closer to the camera in the fireplace. And
Yeah, I saw a shadow of something.
I didn't notice it when I was editing it. And I just left it in there because obviously
You did, obviously.
but I was there, so it would make sense. And here we go. Crack screen the rest of the film. But I like the crack screen. I think it's cool.
It's fine.
People give it a tough time, but I don't.
Well, at least people are watching enough to give it
I
a
don't
tough
care.
time.
Yeah.
We appreciate your negative comments.
Yeah.
He's like, here's a knife. Got a knife here. We're going to take these oranges out of the bag. It's now turned into a cooking show.
Eat them straight, brine, skin and all.
Mm.
Yeah,
Looking at bananas like that. Have you seen a person eat a banana like that with a skin?
I did that once for a movie. It was disgusting.
By the way, people who are making films, Clay was young and stupid when he did this. He would never pick up a real knife and walk with it menacingly on camera. He would use a prop knife. But
yeah,
this is
the
before
only
I knew
reason
him.
we did stuff like this is because it was a very controlled set. You know, it was just the two of us on camera. And this was intense because I actually did rub that against my skin purposefully just out of frame, and Joe stood over my shoulder and dumped fake blood at the perfect time. I remember we did that in one take too. And I quickly looked at my arm to see if I accidentally cut myself, because I had it touching my skin and I pulled it really fast to try to sell the effect. But I pulled it away so that it would like, you could kind of like hear
he turned off the camera, which means
the skin, but I didn't want to cut myself.
Again, now he would do that with props and some Foley. He wouldn't do it.
For sure, but the theme of this is authenticity, and I think that doing a lot of this stuff realistically is what adds to the whole aspect of.
I'm gonna stop this right now. No, it doesn't. If you're a young person, you're making a film, you want to make a film, don't add to the authenticity. Do not take a knife and put it to your
No. I'm not suggesting that you do that. I just think in this instance, little things like that help sell it. But no, looking back at it now, it was incredibly stupid to do some of the stuff that we did.
But not only that, but the props that they make now look so realistic. You can't tell.
Right.
I
So
have a baseball bat outside that we used for a movie. I still have it. It is totally fake.
Yeah. Back then, though, a fake knife would have been obvious. This is the scene where we had help because we had to have someone write verbin on the mirror.
So who did it?
Matt, who has been in some of my older films. He was in Starman. But he just helped us out on set for that shot because Joe showed the mirror. You noticed at the beginning of the scene, he showed the mirror with nothing on it. Mm-hmm. He grabs the fruit, and then I scream in the room. Or he notices that the fruit is gone, goes and looks, finds it on the kitchen counter, goes back to my room. I start screaming, and when he pans out to the bathroom, you can then see that the writing is there. Obviously, neither one of us could do that because we really wanted it to be one continuous shot.
Clay looks like my 12-year-old version of my 12-year-old son, angry at me, about to run to his room and listen to some more Linkin Park.
This scene was...
This is good.
This was hectic to shoot. And I'm hesitant because of the whole knife thing to say things here. But you can see that my tongue is black. And I tried using so many different things to make it black. I used Sharpie. I don't remember what else I used, but nothing worked. I kept like swallowing it. Mascara is what I ended up using because it stayed on my tongue long enough to get through the shoot and stay black. So I had mascara on my tongue.
Sounds horrible.
It was. I hated it. It was disgusting. For those of you that don't know, many of you have pointed it out that you appreciate the acting and the stunt work that I've done. I basically sacrificed my body for these films. Because
he sacrificed himself.
Because to me, I feel like if you're doing something like this, it has to be genuine. And I remember, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, when we do the third one. But I remember I wanted to fall down the stairs for a scene, and you like refused to let me because you thought I was going to get hurt. But
yeah, here's the thing: is that he wanted to fall down the stairs for a movie we did last year. At your age,
yeah, I'm not the same. I get it.
I'm taking you to the hospital is what's going to happen. And by the way, that place was effing haunted, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Go watch the special. We're not talking about it this one.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a pretty watch. He's wearing that beautiful watch.
And you can slowly see now that the camera's gotten a little bit more cracked, and it's also a little bit desaturated, like it's not functioning properly. I'm I'm really happy with how some of this turned out. And it was cool too because a lot of this focus stuff was accidental. And as it
autofocusing, huh?
Yeah, because it was autofocusing. So as it autofocused, I did the opposite with the crack because the crack should be so close to the crack is the lens. So it's like literally right there. So if the camera goes out of focus, the lens should be like in focus. It should be like the opposite, like such shallow depth of field. This was fun to do too. I think this is the first time I throw up. And then I do it an awful lot in the sequels.
Yeah.
This was like bloody throw up though and disgusting. I've shown this to people and they hate it.
It was good though.
I like it though. I think it's great. And then I purposefully showed my masterful spit up, like pan the camera over and then I'm just a wreck. It's great. It's awesome.
All right, your battery's still going, right?
Yes.
My battery's about ready to die here. Let me see which one I got here.
back.
And we're gonna keep going. We're gonna stop. I'm just gonna change the batteries.
Okay.
spent
So you
all
keep
night
talking,
at a
okay?
hotel
Yep.
Praying.
Yeah,
that
so
I
around this
could
point, I
get
think
home
is
and
when
realize
people
that
are
I'm the
like,
only one.
after what
I could
happened,
save grades.
and he leaves and goes stays at a
So
hotel,
I came back. to
comes
find
back, hasn't reached out to anyone, hasn't called the cops. But I think the thing that people don't really put together is he doesn't have the camera during that time. So you don't know what he did. All you know is what he tells the camera. We can't show that, and we can't imply anything. All we can give you is what the character chooses to give. So I'm not saying that he did or did not talk to or call somebody. I'm just saying realistically in a situation like this. I mean, if something happens to you and you're recording it on your phone and you stop recording and then the next day you start recording again, how do we know what you did in between the time? You know, if you're recording let's say you're a passenger in a car and you're recording and you get in a car accident and the phone stops recording or you stop recording as you're flipping, and then the next thing is you in a hospital going, I survived that, but we don't know what happened in between there. Did they have to give you CPR? We only know if you tell us. Did they have to did the driver live? We don't know unless you tell us. So I think that people don't really think about like the situation of the camera is the one telling this story. And it's important because that's what found footage is the camera. We want this to be as if you walk
That is just
somewhere and on a shelf you find a VHS tape or a SD card or even just a random file on a computer and hit play. This is what we want to show. So we can only give you what the characters give. And that's my rant about calling the cops. Maybe he did call the cops. Maybe they called him out and said, that sounds crazy. Do you have proof? Well, I could show you the camera, but I mean, cops out there. What would you do if you saw some of this? Would you think it was fake?
Is now what we call Huntington Orchard.
Funny, this is the first movie that you ever made, and all of our movies are always the same amount of time.
Just about, yeah.
Greg?
We can't get above 70 minutes. We do it for you guys because we know that you like short movies.
Yeah. I think this one works though. I don't know where he'd put more time in this. I think this was just about the perfect length for what it is.
Oh, there he goes.
Yep.
This part's really pretty scary. And the thing is, I like the fact that it's in the middle of broad daylight because it's always... Why does it always have to be at night?
Well, we figured early on that the last day probably shouldn't be an entire day. That really the climax of the film should be the fourth night when I go crazy and I'm chasing him and I drive him out of the house and then it opens the fifth day and he's not even there. I'm just recording random things and throwing up. And that sort of feels like what the second and third one turn into because there's not a second character. to play off of.
I'm pretty
This
sure
one,
he only got that
we just
obsession
had the
after
character
making
come
through.
back.
So I really
And I
wanted
think
to
the
do
only
this.
reason we
Maybe
had
I'll
him
help
come
you
back
find
is
out
so
what's
you can
going
see
on.
what happens to him. Because
Yeah.
if we don't show Joe's character dying, then it implies that, yeah, he did live, he did talk to someone, and we didn't want that to be the case. We wanted this to be very, like I said at the beginning, broad and, well, what happened? Who's Verbin? What's going on? And the details that he's giving right now is about
All right.
all we wanted to give. And in fact, we kind of went back and forth about, like, should we even give some of this stuff away? Like earlier he was talking about
the house,
Verbin's rental property and
the bodies were found up against
people
the
going
various
missing
trees that were
and
in
all
the
this
yard,
stuff. And we really
and that they bled themselves
contemplated,
to death.
should we include this?
Were they
But
trying
at the end of the day, we decided there
to
needed to be
water
like
these
just a
fruit trees
tiny bit of like,
with their own blood?
why would Joe keep pursuing this? He has to find little tidbits that are interesting enough that he chooses
Is cursed
to
fruit?
dig deeper without solving what's going on.
Which means I
Without
need to
giving
find
the
Greg and
audience
make
a
sure he's not
big,
gonna
tall
hurt
drink of
himself.
exposition cola.
Right.
Yeah. Refreshing.
This scene too. So
First,
this is pretty much the last scene of the film because he's going to, in a second,
we just
he hears me crying and he's going to go to the bathroom and find me. My parents were home for this too, and this was awkward. We shoved them in the back room, the game room where we're watching the Crazies earlier in the film. And I said,
tolerated a lot, my man.
they did. But I said, and think about this for a second. If you're just watching two guys record this scene is kind of hilarious. I mean, it's dramatic and it's intense. They're just out of frame right there. But I was like, you're going to hear some things. You're going to hear me crying. You're going to hear me talking about wanting blood. It's going to be wild. I need you to just be quiet. This was tough. I don't cry well on camera.
Come on, come with me. It'll be okay.
It's okay, buddy.
Blood.
Oh, boy. He did a good job with that camera work right there.
Yep. This is good. Stab. It's good stuff.
Don't break the camera.
No, I like all of this is so good. And then when I re-edited this, you can see that there is blood on the bed.
Sorry.
That was not there in the original cut, but I wanted to make it a little bit more gruesome.
It's just a little bit too. It's not. It's only for a second.
No,
to see
it's so small. It's so fast. I love talking about this scene too because I'm really proud of the fact that I don't catch myself. You can kind of see my hand go up,
It's a
but I
hot
don't.
rocks.
I didn't actually like catch myself. It just I went like completely limp to try to sell that. And when I did, my hand kind of fell to the side. So it looks like I catch myself, but I actually cut the side of my face because I hit the rock so hard.
But like
Oh,
their hands
jeez.
were clean, even
For
the
film.
teacher said so at school.
for film.
Anyone can fall through the cracks.
And then here's the
We can't rule
the
anything out
bookend.
this time.
Well, what about Verbin? Has that name these boys?
Looks
dug
like there's
up
several
been
cameras.
looked
He's using
into at
one
all?
camera.
Yep.
Yes, we've looked into him, Mr. Verbin.
Yep.
What information came out of that? No further comment at this time.
This turned out great too. I love how it ends with them just kind of being like, "Are you kidding me?" And you kind of see it's a library in that end shot, but
Yeah, but no, it's so it could be a public. It could be a public building, which
Yeah.
I mean technically it is. So
well, I
worked
think
out well.
it's supposed to look like it's the college campus, like some part of the college campus. I don't know what people think, but yeah.
You know, you did a pretty good job with this, man. I'll be honest with you. I liked it when you showed it to me originally. I like it now. I'm happy we did two more of them, not three yet. We've done two more of them so far. Yet. You know, guys, we really appreciate you you watching this with us again. Thanks for all of your support, your great comments. and your not so great comments. Thank you for calling us out on stuff. Look, we got Jason McCrighton there. We got Kayla Andrews.
Yeah, some good people that we worked with.
Sandra Williams.
Later.
Anthony. You got Christine Manola. I haven't seen her in a bit, but I bet she's doing well. Lots of great. Oh, Mr. Quigley. Haven't seen him in forever.
Yep.
Dustin Pennington did a great job.
It was good fun.
It was a great time. I had a good time doing it. I hope you guys had a good time watching it as well.
Yeah.
We plan to do this with all of our movies. So if you like it, probably got a new playlist of director's commentary through the lens with overnight pictures.
And definitely, if we missed something, please ask it in the comments. I'm an open book when it comes to how I make things, and I don't try to hide things. I just divulged a lot of information that
Clay is wide open and ready to receive you.
that is okay, somewhat true. But no, for real, I'm curious what I might have missed that you might have a question about. I'd love to talk about certain scenes or parts that I didn't cover, because I do think that there's not a lot of people that do things the way that we do, or I do, even more specifically. And I think that it's fun to talk about, because I do stand firm that I think that anybody that really wants to can go out and make films. Yeah, Adam is right. Don't use real knives. But
also, don't wait. Go out and make your films, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you made this when you were just a child.
Not kidding. We bought fruit and a box. I think Joe and I spent $5.50. That's $5.50 on that movie. We came across the watch. We already had a bottle of blood from Spirit. I think they're like $8 now, but honestly, you could do something without blood, or make blood with like cornstarch and food dye, and like some look it up. There's a easy
corn syrup.
Corn syrup, that's what it is. There's an easy formula though, and everything else we just found or used what we had, and it was honestly probably one of the better films that we've made. I still, to this day, 13, 14 years later, think that is near the top of what I've created. So
at least you have some fond memories about it. And don't wait. Go create. Go do it.
Yeah.
Go do some great stuff.
That's our motto.
If you would like
don't wait, go create.
That's right. Don't wait, create. Also, guys, if you see something in these films that you'll probably watch, the next two, or you might want to watch the commentary with us. If you see something that you would like us to embellish on in the next installment, let us know. We're still planning it out. It's a ways off, but hey, we're still planning these things out. We'd love to hear what the fans have to say, what they'd like to see. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I think this was pretty damn productive, brother. What do you think?
Yeah, I like this. I think that we did a good job, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We really want to aim to do more stuff like this. As Adam said, we're going to cover the sequels. We're going to cover a lot of our other films. We might even go back and talk about this one and make multiple, whatever this is, episodes, features, commentaries on films. So who knows? There might even be a follow-up to the first one where we talk about other things. There's a lot of stuff that I could have said about this film that just time doesn't allow in one 90-minute video, whatever this is going to be. So
90 minutes. It's going to be a lot longer than 90 minutes, bro. No, probably not. But, we want you guys to enjoy what we're doing, hear our process. Maybe it can inspire you to do something as well. Guys, don't forget, again, please like and subscribe to our page. If you just happen upon us, please do that. We'd love to have you as a subscriber, and comment below. Let us know what you think, please.
Yeah, and just thanks for watching. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Until next time.
This has been Through the Lens.
This has been Through the Lens with Clay Moffatt and Adam Berardi.